will, please stand with us. Good evening. Welcome to the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting for the City of Hendersonville, Tennessee. This is February 24th, 2026. We are right at 7 p.m. We're going to begin our meeting as we typically do, and that's with a prayer and the pledge. And providing our prayer tonight is the Reverend Dr. Otis Clayton Sr. He is the chaplain for the Sumner County chapter of the Military Officers Association of America, and he's also retired Army Major and retired chaplain with the U.S. Army. Dr. Clayton, we very much appreciate what you do for our community, and it's good to have you back.
We're praying especially tonight for men of the 278 and women of the 278 and other unheard prayers that was not vocalized. Let us pray, my brothers and sisters. Eternal and gracious God, we come before you tonight with a heart full of gratitude for the blessings of life, for the gift of community, and for the privilege of public service. Thank you personally for the opportunity to stand in this hollow place as a resident of Hendersonville, as a military veteran who has worn the uniform of this great nation, as a chaplain who has prayed with soldiers in times of peace and conflict, and as an author who believes in the power of words to inspire, to offer this prayer on the behalf of this great city. We thank you, dear God, for Hendersonville, a city of growth, promise, and shared vision. We thank you for its youth, its schools, its businesses, its houses of worship, and for every family that calls this place home. Tonight, dear God, we lift before you Mayor Jamie Clarity, the aldermen, and all who have been entrusted with the responsibility of leadership. Grant them the wisdom to govern this with fairness, insight to make decisions that serve the common good, and the moral courage to do so what is right when the path is difficult. Help them to lead not for personal recognition, but for the well-being of every citizen. And still, Lord, as we observe Black History Month, we pause to remember the faith and sacrifice and perseverance of African Americans who have contributed and have shaped this nation and this community like this one. May the time of reflection move us toward deeper unity, greater understanding, and renewed commitment to justice, equity, and mutual respect. Dear gracious God, as one who served in the armed forces of this country, I also ask a special blessing upon every veteran, their families, and active duty service members in this community, upon the first responders, and upon all who stand daily in the front lines of service for safety and for freedom of others. Bless the citizens of Hendersonville, young and old, lifelong residents and newly arrived. May this city continue to be a place where opportunity is real, where diversity is respected, where voices are heard, and where every person is treated with dignity. As this meeting proceeds, let every discussion be guided by wisdom, every decision be marked by integrity, and every action be directed toward the welfare of the whole community. May there be a spirit of cooperation and a commitment to truth and a shared vision that lifts this city even greater heights. We offer this prayer in the mighty name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the Lamb of God who came and took away all the sins of the world. We pray. Let us all say amen. Amen. Amen.
Dr. Clayton, thank you. You've raised the bar on opening prayers. That's for sure. And again, that's the Reverend Dr. Otis Clayton Sr. He is the chaplain for the Sumner County chapter of the Military Officers Association of America. He is retired Army Major and retired Army chaplain. Again, we appreciate what you do for our community and for our country. So please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm going to entertain a motion that we accept the agenda that was provided to you in your packets. We have a motion from Alderman Goodwin, a second from Alderman Dixon. Alderman Robertson.
Yes, Mayor, I would like to make an amendment to add to the brief committee reports a report from me on the Country Hills Golf Course kind of an update on the storm damage there and the results. So I move.
We have a second from Alderman Sassy. Alderman Robertson, Alderman Sassy, how do you feel about putting that in reports as number 3?
Yes.
Okay, sounds good. Okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. Okay. So we're going to add Golf Commission report as number 3 under brief committee reports. Any other discussion? Any other motions? So the packet that is provided to you, we have made one addition to that, and that is a Golf Commission report under brief committee reports number 3. All those in favor of approving the agenda as amended, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Thank you all. Next, we have a couple presentations. I think Larry Phillips is going to do that, maybe Larkin. I'm not sure who else is going to be with you. Larry, I'm going to let you take the show away.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate that. Good evening to all of you, Aldermen and Mr. Mayor. On behalf of the Hendersonville Holiday Fest, we thank you for allowing us a few moments to recognize the 2025 Holly Jolly Christmas Parade winners and the 2025 Cindy Lou Who Essay Contest. Of course, we are doing this a little later because we all got snowed out in January. So thank you for letting us be here again. First, I want to extend sincere appreciation to all of the Holiday Fest supporters and sponsors for their continued investment in this community. We appreciate everything that they do for us. And a special thank you to our Christmas Parade sponsor, EXS Group, whose partnership helps make the parade possible each year. I'm pleased to begin with our 2025 Holly Jolly Christmas Parade winners. And the parade entries were judged on overall creativity, theme execution, visual impact, community spirit, and presentation on parade night. At this time, we invite our parade winners to come forward as I read your names to receive your plaques, and then we've already taken the photo, so we don't have to do that. In third place is Stone Creek Memory Care. I'm not sure if they have a representative here tonight, but thank you, Stone Creek. In second place was Isaiah 117 House. There you go. Thank you very much. And the first place overall winner is the Hendersonville Animal Hospital. Thank you very much. And on to our Cindy Lou Who essay winners. The annual competition invites third graders from across Sumner County to reflect on what Christmas means to them. Essays are judged on originality, clarity of thought, creativity, and how well they capture the spirit of the season. We are also incredibly grateful to the third grade teachers throughout our community who continue to make this a tradition within the classrooms each year. Your encouragement and leadership makes this program possible. This year, all 3 of our winning essays just happened to come from the students at William Burris Elementary. At this time, we invite our essay winners to please come forward as I read your names to receive their certificates and take them home with big smiles. So our third place winner is Alice Landry, who couldn't be with us tonight, but we want to certainly recognize her. In second place is Bella Head. Thank you. And in first place is Carlotta Gonzalez de Leon Torres. Thank you. These students remind us that beyond the lights and festivities, the true heart of Christmas is kindness, generosity, and hope. Congratulations to all of tonight's honorees, and thank you, BOMA, for your continued support of Holiday Fest and the traditions that strengthen our community each year.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all putting that together with the parade and the contest. We have no public hearings. Next is approval of the minutes. You were provided the minutes in your packet from our February 10th, 2026 meeting. I need a motion, please. We have a motion from Alderman Goodwin, a second from Alderman, somebody down there, Alderman Bergdorf. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes as they were provided to you, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Thank you. Next, we have citizen comments. We have one person signed up. Here are the rules for citizen comments. Speakers must identify themselves by name and address. Public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes per person, which time is not transferable to other speakers. All comments are to be directed to the presiding officer, that's me, not to aldermen, city staff, or other members of the public. Comments must address issues, not individuals or personalities. Personal attacks shall not be tolerated. Comments may support or oppose particular issues or measures, but the motives of those with differing views shall not be questioned or attacked. Malicious comments will not be allowed. Speeches for or against particular candidates running for public office shall not be allowed. Mr. Brand, Henry Brand, who was here a couple weeks ago, of Help a White Drive. Let me keep it for a second.
First, I want to be clear, I don't want to be that gadfly that shows up at every meeting railing against a certain cause, but I just had just a little bit more to say from what I had to say before. To begin with, I don't think you will ever have ever heard yourself described the way I'm about to describe you. I sat there last week and I was enchanted. Okay, this has come from someone whose image of government is what I see in the mainstream media. Bunch of Christian Dior gowns and Armani suits and pretentious clownishness and all that crap. You're normal. I mean, I'm not trying to damn you with faint praise. I'm just saying, you know, you dress normal, you speak normal. This is America, okay? I mean, what can I say? And I'm not buttering you up because one of my main points here is going to be there's not a whole lot you folks can directly do about what I'm talking about. I know that. I see that now. But the problem with NES and their incompetent, their unwieldiness, I don't think they're evil, okay? I think they're unwieldy. They're too big. And sending asking Nashville to allow us to send a representative to represent, I mean, please, okay, I know they've got a lobbying presence is just like a big steamroller. It'll run right over us. But then the thing is, this is mostly a state and to some extent federal issue, but you folks have influence. I can get in contact with my state legislator or something. Yeah, okay. You do. I don't know that much, but you have more impact than I do. And you're not alone. There's Laverne, Brentwood, Smyrna, Sumner County, and the like that are already going into the state legislature and approaching them to make a law or something that would allow us to choose who we get our electric service from. And to underscore, this is a real problem. It's serious. It's not a Democrat versus Republican, left, right, blue, red, MAGA, rhino, I don't care, however you want to spin it. It's right versus wrong. One of the big complaints I hear is people, well, you people are soft, you're spoiled, you just can't get some electricity and you don't know what to do. Well, you tell that to the 94-year-old who's wrapped up in blankets, breathing 10-degree air. Yeah, back then, they didn't have it. You know what they did? They died, okay? Probably, I would say, a good bulk of the people that are in our world right now are here because of electricity and a few other improvements that have made life better. And when you have a restaurant owner who's sitting there in Hendersonville with their food stocks totally destroyed, while over here by Cumberland Electric, this counterpart's doing just fine, thank you, that's a real issue. It's economics. It's human survival, human dignity. So all I'm asking is, whatever tricks you can pull out of your hat, rabbit's hat, please contact these people, do something. I'll do the same, but I think you have your influence. You're not alone. City and county governments around this area, greater Middle Tennessee, are doing the same. So please, that's all.
Mr. Brand, thank you. I turned off the wrong microphone. Here we go. Next item we have is ordinance and resolutions, and the first item we have under that group is second reading of ordinance 2026-02. This is an ordinance amending budget ordinance 2025-09 to reflect mid-year adjustments to the city's 2026 fiscal year budget. We have a motion from Alderman Sassy and a second from Alderman Garza. One of the first things I need to do is I need to turn this over to Tamara. Oh, shoot. Oh, there we go. Okay, you're there for it. Okay. She needs to explain, and we might need to call Jason too. She needs to explain the need for an amendment. I sent that out to you. Unfortunately, I just sent it out today. I would hope to get it out to you yesterday. That's entirely my fault. And I'm going to give you a hard copy of what Tamara's going to talk about.
So the amendment, I tried to make it easy so everybody could see what we're talking about. It's these last 4 lines on here are the additions, and then on line 3, there's a correction of a clerical error on there. These last 4 lines, there's a couple of things going on. One, the cost for the pay study came in substantially less than what was anticipated. So there's about a $90,000 savings from that. Thank you, Jason. And with that, IT has identified, and it was actually brought up previously, that our phone system that is currently used citywide is beyond its useful life, and we can't do any repairs. So if our phone system were to go down, it would be down. So the thought was to take some of that savings from the pay study, move it into a different project to be able to allow for the replacement of the city's phone systems. So that would transfer 80,000 of that 90. And then one of the HVACs that services the annex building for PD has gone down. It is so old they can't get replacement parts for it. The cost is right around $20,000 for that. So shifting the other 10,000 from the pay study into there, plus PD does have some savings in their building maintenance line of about 10,000 that they can transfer down to cover the cost for that HVAC replacement.
Tamara, is the best way to handle this to take what we just handed out and substitute it for what's on page, well, it's Exhibit B?
Yeah, I would say replace the existing Exhibit B with this version, and then everything would be as it needs to be.
Okay, we'll do that in a second. Alderman Sassy.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Tamara, did we upgrade our phones just in the last budget cycle? Okay.
No.
I thought we had something in there about phones as well. No? Okay.
I don't think so. There was some video
Maybe that's what I'm
equipment, but
thinking
there was no phones.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it, Tamara. I'm going to entertain a motion that we take what Tamara handed us and substitute it for Exhibit B. We have a motion from Alderman Dixon, a second from Alderman Sassy. Any discussion on that? Alderman Robertson.
Did staff look at possibly on the work at the police department and of putting that in the PIP account instead of in the operating budget to increase our balance in the operating budget? I think that could be covered in the PIP, or am I wrong on that? It's public safety. It's a public safety expenditure, so.
Yeah, it could be.
Okay. I have no other questions on the amendment.
Okay. Alderman Robertson, you're the only one who has the light on right now, so. Okay, so we'll do this amendment, and then I'll see if you want to continue. Okay, that's what we're voting on right here is the amendment. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Now we're back on the main motion. Alderman Collins.
I have a couple of questions, just some clarification. The first one is under general HR meals and incidentals, a $3,000 expense for public safety recognition event. Can you tell me about that event?
You want to talk about that, Jesse? I'll let Jesse address that question.
About 2 years ago, we did an event where we brought PD and fire together, and we provided lunch and said, hey, just bring your families, and we're going to have a food truck out and just enjoy some time together. Why, if you're on shift or you're not on shift. We wanted to do that again this year. We don't have availability of budget to do that, so we were asking for a little bit of money to be able to do that for police and fire this year.
That sounds wonderful. I'd like to be invited. It sounds fun.
Yes, ma'am.
My other question is under parks. We have 2 different, did you ask for a page number? I don't know what page.
If you have the sheet in front of you, has numbers off to the far left-hand side. If you tell me the number.
19.
Okay.
Page 19, and, so, under, it's the second little section.
Okay.
Contributions for parks and sponsors. And contributions and donations. I am very curious to know who has donated to us, because I would love to thank them.
At least one of them has asked to remain anonymous.
And that's, I respect that.
Yeah, the big one has requested to remain anonymous. But I can give you the names of the others. They're not listed on here. I don't remember them off the top of my head.
Okay,
But we
I
have
would
them
love
listed
to
out.
have an opportunity to thank them.
And we do, when we receive donations, we actually, out of the finance office, send a donation letter to them, thanking them for their contribution, and then they have that so that they can use it for tax purposes as well.
Thank you so much for doing that. That's all I have.
Alderman Collins, thank you for that note. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I want to make sure the cat didn't get out of the bag.
Oh, we've had anonymous donations before, and
Yeah.
that's very reasonable.
Thank you, Alderman Collins. Alderman Bergdorf.
Thank you, Mayor, appreciate it. And just a point of clarification, where was that donation? Was just up here under line 6?
Lines 4 and line 6.
Lines 4 and line 6, okay, great, thank you. The question in particular is about the use of the tree bank fund. And I see the prior year refunds under refund of tree bank funds to Grace Place, but the use of funds, you're requesting additional 31,000. Do we have an idea what that was for?
It was for additional tree planting throughout the city.
Throughout the city, wasn't any one particular location or anything like that?
I think, I don't remember exactly how many locations, but they've had purchase orders to plant trees in about 10 or 12 different locations throughout the city.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Alderman Bergdorf, thank you. Alderman Robertson.
Thank you. And I talked to Tamara today, so hopefully I'm not going to spring anything on you. But I do have some questions and some concerns. If you'll look at, let's see, page 3 that's in the packet, under non-operating budget, capital and special projects. I'll give you a minute to get to there. It's on page 22 in our notebook. And I guess my overarching question is I'm trying to get a good, accurate picture of our finances. And so I'm going to ask some questions that can help me get there. So you see page 22, the non-operating budget, capital and special projects. What is included in those line items?
In the non-operating capital and special projects, those are all of our
Yes.
construction projects. There's like the pay study, things that don't happen year over year, routine purchases are included in there. So our salary and benefits, our operating costs for our departments, the replacement vehicles that we do routinely are not, but everything else is included in those.
And is that also construction projects?
Yes, it includes.
You know, that maybe we haven't had to pay for yet, but that is encumbered?
Yes.
Okay. If you look at the numbers, it's growing in the deficit. The deficit is growing. Tamara, from a general accounting principle, should we be concerned about that?
I think it's something to keep your eye on. We want to make sure that our unassigned fund balance stays at an adequate level. The positive is that with these projects, they're one-time expenses, so we can choose to fund more or less of them from one year to the next, not authorizing new projects potentially. But it's definitely something to be aware of and watch. Looking at this, there's only about $800,000 of unassigned fund balance that could be used before we drop below the minimum recommended amount.
And that's shown at the bottom
Yes.
in the yellow, I believe. Or maybe, no, that's my highlights.
That's your, that's, yeah, it's at the bottom of that, chart.
So, the non-operating budget and capital and special projects, would that capture the PIP money?
No, this chart here is only the general fund. PIP is, accounted for separately.
And what's our projections at midterms on the PIP of what it's gonna look like?
Yeah, our projections at the, for mid-year for PIP is that the revenues are coming in about 150 to 200,000 over what was budgeted.
For the year?
For the
It's
year.
projected?
Yes.
About 200,000?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And hotel motel, about the same thing? Are they a little over? And
Yeah.
I apologize, I'm sure finance has asked these questions.
No, that's
But
fine.
I wasn't there.
Hotel motel is coming in maybe 25 to 30,000,
Okay.
over, budget.
On line 11, on the amended document that we approved tonight, Exhibit B, number 11, this is $2 million for the storm that we project that we're going to submit to, I guess, FEMA. It says that it came from the rainy day fund. Is that reflected on this page 22 anywhere?
It is
That
about,
expenditure?
yeah, it's listed, in that second section, the non-operating budget. The second line down on the right-hand column, yeah, it shows a use of reserves.
Is reserves? No?
Yeah, it's the middle section on the chart. You can see it on the column to the right-hand side. It shows the use of reserves.
So I would assume then, since it's listed there, that all of our reserves, and I think we have 3 reserve funds, right? Correct?
Yes,
Rainy day, public safety, and infrastructure.
yes, sir.
And so are all of those 3 balances listed in the non-operating?
No, sir, only the amount of the reserves that were requested to be used for this amendment are shown on there.
Okay, that's okay, I just wanted to make, and all of that's coming from the rainy day, and we had $2 million in there, I'm sure.
Yeah, there was 2.4 million in the rainy day reserve.
And that will be replenished once, if and when the federal government gets it
Yes.
to us.
Yes.
Okay. So you did tell me that the bottom line is that we're about $800,000 over what the comptroller requires us to, the bottom line, correct?
Yes.
About 800,000. So it's tighter than it's ever been in recent history
Yes.
on that. So
Recent
that-
being 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since I've been here.
Yeah. So that's something else that we'll need to look at too, as far as that shrinks even further. Okay. Let me see if that's all. Okay, that's all, Mayor. Thank you.
Real quick comment on that is, I appreciate you making those points, Alderman Robertson. 8 and 9 years ago, we had such a low fund balance that we couldn't spend on paving in August, September, October, November, because we just didn't have enough money in our bank accounts. We had money coming in November, December, January, February, and that's when we can do paving. We had to put off all capital expenses and capital purchases the first half of the fiscal year because our budget was, our fund balance is so low. Fortunately, with Jesse and Tamara, you see the shape that we're in now. So it makes a big, big difference. Alderman Sassy.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate those questions as well. Just one note on number 11. Tamara, how long will it take for FEMA to reimburse that?
I anticipate towards the end of fiscal year 2028, we will likely receive FEMA funds. So it usually takes about 2 years.
Great, yeah, I wanted to make that clarification.
Yeah, to put
there.
it in perspective, for the tornado and for the flood, the tornado that happened in December of 2023 and the flood that happened in May of 2024, they just obligated those funds. So
Yeah, and we're in 2026, so.
it takes about 2
Takes
years.
a while, yeah. So we look forward to that, and we may have another. Well, I don't want to say that.
Don't say that.
What, you said the D word, Alderman Ward. We may have another claim to them of some sort later on. So, but one other point here, number 28, this is just a typographical error, and another one that I noticed. Number 28, it looks like we did not carry that 75,000 over to the adjusted budget amount.
Okay.
Tamara, does that have impact on the bottom line?
It does not have impact on the bottom line.
Yeah, just typographical.
Is that something we can just correct as a clerical error?
Good catch.
Yes.
Do I need to make an amendment? No? I didn't think so.
Thank you, Lance.
Yeah.
Alderman Sassy.
That's all,
thank you.
thanks.
Alderman Evans.
Thank you. A couple of clarification questions. Thank you for Alderman Robertson for bringing those thoughts up. But two things. One, is it a requirement of the state or is it a recommendation of the state as far as what our recommended fund? It's a recommended fund balance, is it not?
It is a recommended fund balance. However, last year, our smaller funds that did not have that, they told us that we needed to update our fund balance policy and we needed to make progress towards getting there for those other funds.
Okay. But it's,
We could potentially have our budget either only conditionally approved or not approved if
Okay.
we don't meet certain
Okay.
certain recommendations.
I'm just looking for
Yeah.
a clarification there. It's not, it's highly recommended that they want us to have a certain fund balance, but it's not required. And so while I'm probably as fiscally conservative as anybody up here, I would say, we just have to be careful with that and that it's not a requirement and that we're looking at, sometimes you have to spend money, you know. And one thing, I'm glad that Alderman Sassy brought this up too. While the $2 million is using some of the reserves, the rainy day reserves, and that's why we're at the point where it's 800,000, a little bit over. If we didn't have to use that $2 million, that would be 2.8 million higher than the recommended. But that's why we have that there. That's why we have those savings there.
Yep.
And us keeping in mind that that will be reimbursed, albeit a little bit later than we would like, but it's going to be reimbursed. So I just wanted to bring that up. Thank you.
Alderman Evans, thank you. Any other discussion, any other motions? We've made one amendment, and that was replacing this sheet that Tamara handed out as Exhibit B. All those in favor of approving second reading ordinance 2026-02 as amended, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. We did. I just checked that. Thank you. That passes unanimously. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jesse. Next, we're on to Resolution 2026-03. This is a resolution to discontinue a period of temporary employment for employees of a political subdivision participating in a Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System in accordance with state law pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated Title 8, Chapters 34 through 37. We have a motion from Alderman Garden and a second from Alderman Goodwin. All those in favor of Resolution 2026-03, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Thank you all. Next, we have first reading ordinance 2026-01. This is an ordinance amending the Hendersonville Municipal Code, repealing and replacing Title IV, Municipal Personnel, amending Section 2-101, appointing members to various boards and commissions, and to adopt a revised edition of the Personnel Rules and Regulations. Do we have a motion? We have a motion from Alderman Garza and a second from Alderman Robertson. Alderman Evans, go ahead.
I just wanted to throw this out before we start. I don't know what the process is going to be of us going through this,
But I'd just like to throw out that maybe we just take it section at a time, because I'm sure that there are some questions from a lot of people, and rather than going from here and there and whatever's brought up, I'd like to take it methodically and go through each section if we could. And if there's no questions on, say, section 1, we move on to section 2, if that's okay.
I think that's reasonable, so.
Thank you.
I'm looking here. So Alderman Evans, I'm looking at sections sort of as chapters. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. So Alderman Goodwood, you were already planning to speak. Do you want me to start calling sections, or do you want to speak now? We might get there. So let's, okay, so we're looking at page 27, and this is chapter 1. Anybody on chapter 1? Okay. Page 28, chapter 2. Okay, Alderman Goodwin.
In chapter 2 on page 29, the middle section, D. Do I need to read what it is, or do you want me just to say what I would like changed?
Where it says fix and establish?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Do I need to read it?
Or somehow explain it.
Do it. I would like to change that. I don't like that one person makes that decision. I would like the department heads to be a part of establishing the number for their individual departments. So I would like that to be changed. I think it needs to be a collaborative effort between the COO and the department heads, and then let BOMA decide the funding.
So up at the first paragraph, it says the city administrator shall have the basic responsibility for the personnel program as set forth in this chapter. The city administrator specifically shall.
And go down to D.
Okay, and what's the wording you're proposing on D?
Certainly.
After consultation with department heads, fix and establish, so put a prepositional clause in front.
Fix and establish. And where are you saying put it?
At the first of the sentence.
D starts with the word after consultation.
Oh, after, okay, so D, okay.
That would be fine.
Hold on one sec. Sure, go ahead.
Tell me, I think I found it just now, but are we on page 30? Is that correct?
We're on page
29.
29.
29?
30 has a couple D paragraphs as well. We're on 29, about 2/3 of the way down the page.
Thank you, I got you, okay.
Thank you.
Right
Alderman Robertson, can you give me your wording? After consultation
there, right here.
Department heads,
with department heads.
period, a comma.
And then, comma, fix and establish.
Is that okay, Karen?
That'll be fine.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Don.
Okay, so Alderman Goodwin, is that your motion?
Yes.
Okay. Alderman Robertson, a second?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you look on page 29, about 2/3 of the way down the page, you see paragraph D. Paragraph D will begin with, after consultation with department heads, comma, then fix and establish and continue what's already typed there. Is that accurate, Alderman Goodwin, Alderman Robertson? Okay. Any discussion on that specific proposal? I've got a couple lights illuminated here. Alderman Sassy, Alderman Skidmore, Alderman,
I'm
on
sorry.
that specific item? Go ahead, Alderman Sassy.
Thank you. So I just want to clarify, so the administrator, as it's mentioned here, would consult, with this new wording, they would consult with the department heads to create the plan for create the staffing plan for that department? Is that correct?
Alderman Goodwin, you want to take that one?
Okay, so the department head wouldn't determine the staffing themselves, they would determine it, they would give feedback to the city administrator, and the city administrator
They
would still
both would
create it.
collaborate and bring it to, so that we could vote on budgetary.
Okay, thank
But
you.
I want the department heads to
Have
us-
some involvement.
have involvement in that.
Great, thank you.
Alderman Sassy, thank you. Alderman Goodwin, anything else?
No.
Okay. Anybody need an explanation of that change? Any sort of clarification? All those in favor of that amendment, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Alderman Goodwin, anything else in chapter, that's chapter 2, isn't it? Anything else in chapter 2?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Number, on page 30, number E,
We have,
at the top.
okay.
Will that be done using the pay study?
Jason, that's probably best for you to answer that one. He says yes.
Okay.
Or were you saying you're the best to answer that? Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
So let me restate the question so I understand. On number E, where it says prepare and recommend to the city administrator a pay plan for all city employees for the governing body. That would be, the method to do that would be through the pay study when we're making changes.
Okay.
Alderman Goodwin, anything else on that? Okay, Alderman Dixon, go ahead.
Thank you. Jason, not all positions are in that pay study, correct?
So this pay study includes all of our positions.
Oh, we did, that's right, we did vote on that. Thank you very much.
Alderman Dixon, thank you. Alderman Bergdorf.
Thank you, Mayor, appreciate it. Jason?
Yep.
Just for clarity and for point of information for our citizenry, what role does HR have in this? Can you explain what the HR role is to the administrator and to the city?
Sure. So my role as the Administrative Services Director or the HR Director serves to oversee the pay study, all of the compliance and operations, making sure everything is done consistently, fairly, and equitable amongst all employees.
Okay, and you take that seriously?
Absolutely.
Okay, good, thank you very much. That's what I wanted to hear. Appreciate it.
Alderman Bergdorf, thank you. Alderman Goodwin, anything else in chapter 2? Okay, does anybody else have anything else in chapter 2? Okay. Good, Alderman Garten? I'm sorry.
It's,
Oh, Alderman,
oh, I'm a.
okay. We're back on the main motion, right? Okay, okay. Chapter 3, I'm sorry, Alderman Collins?
Wait a minute. Chapter, okay. Section, I didn't organize my notes in that fashion, so I'm struggling here a minute, but, section 4, 203, number 2,
Page 31.
page 31. This is kind of a question for Lance or for everybody. When we say that they are not codified as part of this code and shall remain separately contained, they may be amended by resolution, correct? The rules, I'm saying.
Yes.
Midway down the page where it says number 2. Why was that decision made for it not to require an ordinance to amend this?
We had some of the personnel rules that were codified, some were not. Those that were in both tended to show some inconsistencies, and I imagine that a lot of the personnel rules and regulations were codified before we had a separate set of personnel rules. So to prevent duplicity and inconsistencies, it's more efficient and legally safer, I think, to have them just in one document.
Okay, I don't think I understand this because in my mind, this is just, does it require a resolution to make an amendment or does it require an ordinance? But you're saying they wouldn't be in the same document?
it wouldn't be both codified in the Hendersonville Municipal Code and also in our personnel rules and regulations, which a lot of our personnel rules and regulations were, some were not, some were, that were in both were inconsistent. So I believe, as I mentioned, that the reason that they were codified to begin with was the fact that we didn't have a set of personnel rules and regulations.
Okay. I'm not offering an amendment, but I am going to give that some thought, because sometimes I feel like when we have resolutions for personnel rules and it's one reading, we don't maybe slow down enough to really understand what we're doing, and it might be part of the reason that they got a little not the best over time. So I'm just going to give that some thought, but is there a way to accomplish both things? To require an ordinance to make amendments?
Yep.
And
Yes, you could establish a rule that any amendments to the personnel rules would have to be by ordinance.
should we add that to this section?
It'd be nice to maybe consult with Jason and Jesse and maybe bring a separate ordinance on that, just so that there's some things in there that wouldn't require an ordinance too much. It would overwork it, if you will. I mean, there may be some things that doesn't need such an ordinance.
Yeah, okay. I need to give that some thought. I don't want to make it overly cumbersome and just have red tape everywhere, but at the same time, I want to make sure that any amendments to this are really deliberate. So,
Should we get Jason's thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to ask
Yes.
Mr. Gallo.
Sure. So this mirrors what other agencies do as well, but what we're running into in some cases, and I understand your point about taking our time and moving slow. Some of the issues, though, that I saw when we were updating this is that laws that had been in place in Tennessee for almost a decade had never been adopted. What I don't want to do is put a legislative process in place to say that we're going to adopt the new laws that Tennessee has passed, and it's going to take 6 weeks. So that's part of the thought here is from a compliance standpoint and keeping the city in the right standing, sometimes those laws require us to move a little bit faster.
thank you. I'm going to give all of this some thought.
Alderman Collins, anything else on chapter 2?
I think I might have, but I didn't organize my notes in that fashion.
Well,
So,
we're going to go to Alderman Sassy and then come back
okay,
to you.
thank you.
Okay, Alderman Sassy.
Thank you. Jason, so if you mentioned the resolution, just following up on that inquiry by Alderman Collins, if there's a price tag attached to a change that we make, that would still require an ordinance, right? If it's 10,000, I think it is, right?
You're amending the budget at that point?
Yeah.
And so, yes, that would require.
Thank you.
Alderman Sassy, thank you. Alderman Collins, if we need to come back after we finish all the chapters, I mean, that's fine. I mean, we're not married to that. Okay. We're moving on to chapter 3. That starts on page 31, moves on to page, chapter 3 has one word to it. Yeah, let's move on to chapter 4, which is the top of page 32. So, any conversation, discussion, or proposed changes to chapter 4? Okay, Alderman Dixon. Oop, hold on, sorry. Here we go.
I'm circling back.
Okay.
Wanted to use that term. Is there,
Put your microphone.
I'm sorry, is there a reason why chapter 3 is reserved? It might be important to us.
Sure. So the reason we put it as reserved is when all of this was rewritten, chapters 2 and 3 were combined. If I went through and eliminated chapter 3, then chapters 4 and 5 would have to be completely renumbered.
Got it.
So it
Say
saved a
no
little
more.
administrative work.
Got it, say no more. Thank you, Jermaine.
Thank you, Alderman Dixon. So, we are looking now at chapter 4, which is on page 30-something. Thank you, 32. Any discussion, suggestions, amendments, motions? Chapter 5 begins on page 44. And chapter 5 is the last chapter in there. We have Exhibit A. We just have Exhibit A, I believe so. It starts on page 48. Anybody see anything that they want me to back up to? Or any questions for Jason or Lance? Alderman Collins, do you need me to pause, or are we good? Yes on? Okay.
Pages together and got them all out of order at this point.
You guys good? I made a motion, right?
Okay, I have gotten my pages out of order, and I'm not even sure what I'm talking about at this point, but I think it's section 4202.
Chapter 4?
Yes, chapter 4, 202, 29.
Okay.
Well, that's chapter 2.
I know. I am going backwards, I'm sorry.
Page 29.
Yes, I'm sorry, guys, but I wasn't organized in that fashion, and I'm still not sure that I'm totally got myself together. But where we say that employees on Chapter 4, 202C,
Okay.
appoint, remove, suspend, and discipline all employees of the city subject to the policies as set forth in this chapter, and so on and so on. I have a little bit of a concern about what if there are things that, because somewhere in here I read some language about the COO using discretion, and I think that's appropriate, but I kind of feel like there's an overarching theme, and I can't point to exactly where it is because I got my pages out of order, but there's kind of an overarching theme that the COO has quite a bit of discretion and final decision-making for staffing and firing and disciplining, and I'm not necessarily thinking that that's wrong, but I would like to hear thoughts from everybody and have a discussion about whether we are, if we were more involved in that as a board, if things like firing a department head required board involvement, is that too much in the day-to-day? Or if we don't, is that neglecting our oversight responsibilities?
I'll weigh in.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, it's been said many times that policies are written because of one bad actor.
That's right.
Among many. And I wish we didn't need personnel rules and regulations. But almost from the day that this form of government was voted in by referendum, there are immediately problems with some personnel issues. And so that's why we have to have personnel rules and regulations. Obviously, I wish we didn't have to. It has, ever since 1986 and that referendum, there have been questions about who supervises the personnel. Under this form of government, it's very clear that the mayor is the COO. It's very, very clear. Part of the reason we have this form of government is because it wasn't as clear under the previous charter. Occasionally, we'll have committee meetings, and the committee will ask me to do something, ask staff to do something. I just gently remind them that the staff works for me now. They under our charter, they are supervised by the mayor through the department heads, through their supervisors. Now, the board has a tremendous amount of authority when it comes to setting the budget. Tremendous amount of authority. The problem that we've run into more recent, I'll say 5, 6 years ago, was I remember a department head telling me that he doesn't work for the mayor, he works for 7 aldermen, whichever 7 he can find at any time that will support him. That creates big, big problems. That's part of the reason that we are making some of these changes. Our COO works directly under the mayor, which makes sense. And the COO has greater expertise in the day-to-day operations, especially since the COO supervises the HR director. Very much what probably 60 to 70% of my time was spent on before he had the COO were personnel concerns and personnel issues. Doesn't give the mayor a lot of time to spend on long-range planning and long-range strategy. Fortunately, that has changed, and as we have rules and regulations and have standards and have consistency, we have fewer issues that have not been answered before from personnel. But that consistency is huge. It is incredibly inconsistent to allow personnel to choose their supervisors, especially when their supervisors can change. I have these rules and regulations, and I have to stick to them. You tell me what you expect.
Can you say that again?
So, what? I said it's a very inconsistent when an employee can choose their supervisors, and their supervisors are 7 people that could change. That could change on any week. What I mean by that was the person who told me this a couple years ago, they knew that sometimes that person would be able to satisfy 7 aldermen doing one thing, or 7 different aldermen doing another thing. So yeah.
So I get, my concern is not, frankly, that the mayor would have that authority. My concern is that a staff member that even though we appoint that person, is not elected.
Okay.
And so.
I was just about to get there.
Okay, thank you.
Without the CEO, we used to have department heads that handled a lot of those situations. So those people weren't elected but they were essentially carrying out the responsibilities of the mayor. Now we have those responsibilities carried out by the department head and the COO. I don't see it as much different. It is one more layer, but honestly, it allows the board a little bit. I think it gives the board a little bit more accountability on that position, because instead of 10 department heads, it's now 1 person. That if you are unhappy with that, he gives a report and he needs to answer to you. Maybe I answered that.
I'm not offering an amendment, to be clear. These are just things that I have thought about from kind of a philosophical point of view as to balancing where the control and power should and should not be. And I would really hope that other aldermen would weigh in on this, because I would appreciate a conversation on it and insight. It might help me find clarity and feel more comfortable with the overarching, what I see as an overarching theme here. Thank you.
Okay. Alderman Bergdorf. Thank you, Alderman Collins.
Thank you, Alderman Collins. Thank you, Mayor. Appreciate it. I do agree that, well, let's just be honest with you. Every organization needs someone to take the fall. Every organization needs someone to where the buck stops here, whether that be any one of us or the mayor in this particular instance. And that is good operations. You need to have that. The old saying is, if you designed a horse by committee, you turn out with a giraffe. So we need clean, clear-cut lines, and I think this goes to the direction of what we're trying to get to as a smooth, well-run organization. With these rules and regulations in place, they appear to be close to state requirements, right, Jason? Yes, okay. Close or spot on? What are we at?
The goal is spot on.
Spot, okay, good. I'm looking for that. So, but every organization needs that person in the seat. to take the responsibility. So I think we're headed in the right direction, but it doesn't mean that this, when we go through here the next few weeks, years, days, we can't change anything. I believe we still have the ability to come back and do so, correct? Am I correct? Okay, good. So I appreciate you bringing this forward to us, Jason, and letting us have this conversation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alderman Bergdorf. Alderman Evans.
I appreciate what Alderman Collins has shared, and I understand where she's coming from, but I'm looking at it from both sides, from being in the corporate world, both for-profit and nonprofit. You have to kind of draw the line somewhere as far as, well, you have these rules and regulations, and someone has to be accountable for those things. The thing that makes it odd, different in this situation is the way we're governed and we're set up. The fact that you have a mayor, then you have a COO under that, and then you have the department heads under that. So I'm gonna say this, but then I'm gonna back up. I understand that the fact that you want to be careful with one position or one person having too much of the authority, power, whatever you want to call it, but also that's part of our responsibility in making sure that we hire the right person to put in that position. And I think we probably all would agree that I think Jesse, the COO, I'll say, is well qualified, has good intentions, has not given us any indication that there would be problems with that. But I think that's also what we need to do as a governing body, that we need to watch over that, and that if there is anything that happens that maybe we don't agree, we don't follow or whatever, then we have those conversations. Someone has to be the person. You can't have all of these things that go on. But I understand your concern, Alderman Collins, with kind of the buck stopping with one person on all of these things, if that helps.
Alderman Evans, thank you. Alderman Robertson.
I'll take a shot at it too.
I try.
We'll see. Would it help Alderman Collins if we made a change in that sentence as follows? Appoint or remove, suspend, discipline for cause. All employees. So you put in there for cause. That puts a standard that someone just can't lay off employees, but they have to have a cause. I kind of, it's kind of like, I hate to use the example of the federal government, but for when the president makes appointments to cabinet, which would be similar to our department heads, they have to go in front of the Senate and get confirmation. We do the same thing. So when a department head is recommended by the mayor and COO, they bring that to our recommendation to act upon it. So we have the first blush authority right there. But Congress does not have any jurisdiction over the president dismissing employees. They can have hearings on it. They can have oversight hearings. So I just wonder, would that help you if we put in for cause?
Should we go to Mr. Ray first?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Alderman Robertson.
Always defer to General Counsel.
I'll come back to you. Thank you.
Well, it says, subject to the policies, and we've already got policies on what those powers can and can't be. So I would be careful in tinkering with this when we already have something in place that regulates that. Also, this board, when it adopted the ordinance establishing the chief of operations, it delineated what the chief of operations could and couldn't do. So we can't really, in my opinion, change a lot of things of what the chief of operations can and can't do in this if we don't do it in that ordinance. It's my opinion. No offense.
Thank you, Alderman Robertson. Any other discussion on the ordinance in general? All those in favor of first reading of ordinance 2, Alderman Goodwood, you have something? Oh, there we go. Alderman Goodwin, go ahead.
So, wait, did we just quit doing the chapters?
We quit doing the chapters.
Okay.
You finished the chapters.
Well, I have something to bring up.
Go ahead.
I would like to discuss the e-pay, and I have a solution I would like to propose. Page 116.
Okay.
Oh, is it? Are we not there now?
We're doing the regulations and
Okay. Page 116. I've spent many, many, many hours looking at this, going over it, trying to come up with a solution, trying to figure out what we could do, because I think for probably the past 25 years it has not been consistent. And I appreciate Jason and Jesse trying to come up with a solution. We need a solution, but I don't like the solution that you came up with. Nothing personal, but I don't like it. I'm sorry. And the reason that I don't like it is in the proposal, it goes to moving someone to the next step when they start, if they have the degree, or 2 steps or 3 steps, depending on your degree that you have. I'm not for that, because when you hit step 17, you no longer are receiving the benefits from your e-pay. After sitting through hours of discussing e-pay, I think we need to simplify it. And I think we need to look at our employees and do what's best by all the employees. And the way that I would like to amend it to simplify it, your rate of pay includes everything. I'll use fire, for example. If you're a firefighter and you're on the dive team, you get extra money. The different categories, the hazmat, different things. All that's on your rate of pay. What I would like to do going forward with the new budget, I would like to have your rate of pay in one column, your e-pay in another column. If you have your associates, you get the 2.5%. If you get promoted, you get your rate of pay, you keep your 2.5%. If you have your bachelor's, you have your rate of pay and the 5%, and it goes with you all the way through. You can still have requirements to have degrees for the job position, but taking it away, adding it back, it's too cumbersome. I would like to simplify it, have the 2 columns, it stays with you through your career, and leave it at that. And that would be my amendment.
Can we come, so Jason prepared something to help Jesse and me and a couple other folks understand this, and it might help explain your amendment as well. So Jason, can you show what you put together, and then we'll come back to you, Alderman Goodwin,
Okay.
to ask you where you would insert that. So go ahead, Jason.
Are you talking about the slide deck?
I am. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this was just prepared to give you an overview of what education pay or e-pay looks like, how it's applied today, how the new policy would do it as well. So just to be clear, e-pay is education pay that's provided to employees whose education currently exceeds the maximum or the minimum requirement of their position. If a job requires a high school diploma and they have an associate's or a bachelor's or master's, that's the highest level that we'll recognize, then they have one of 3 possible levels, E1, 2, or 3. So if somebody, for example, high school diploma is required, they have a master's, you would end up with an E3. Each education level or E level is at 2.5%. So at an E3, that would be 7.5%. Just some basics before we get too deep in the weeds here. So here's an example of our current policy on applying e-pay. I just gave you a salary table and a grade just as an example. The job requires a high school diploma and the employee is on grade 15, step 5. So under the current policy, that employee would get an E1 designation. They have 1 step educationally above the minimum requirement. They have an associate's degree, a high school diploma is required. So they take their base pay at step 5 and add an E1 designation at 2.5%. Down below, I've done the math for you. So step 5 plus that 2.5% gives you 32,1788. Under the proposed policy, what we're looking at is that if an employer receives the associate's degree, they move up 1 step. So just as simple as that. There's no question on do we recalculate. They've gotten the degree, they move up 1 step. So the comparison here on the different steps is if they have, excuse me, if they have an E1 designation, currently they get 2.5%. Under the proposed, they move to step 6. You'll notice as we go up further in the percentage, there's just a nominal difference as far as pennies, and that has to do with the rounding between each of the steps. So when it's all said and done here, that what we're looking at is just trying to keep it clean and consistent for all employees. With promotions, this is where it can get a little tricky. So
It's where it has gotten a little tricky.
it's what has gotten the city in a lot of confusion. So here's the example. A vacant position requires an associate's degree, and it's a grade 18. So I take a current employee. Now this is as it stands today, and these would be the grandfathered employees that are listed in the policy as it's being proposed. So the job only requires a high school diploma, but they have a bachelor's degree, so they're getting an education level 2. So currently then they're at grade 14, step 12 with an E2 designation. So in order to come up with what their promotion rate is, we have to first come up with their combined rate. And their combined rate is their hourly rate plus the additional 5% that they get from the education pay. And those two totals together give you that combined rate of $37,2969. Sorry for the small text, got hard to fit this in. What we're doing then is calculating the promotion rate. So let me back up just a second. That very bottom number, the combined rate, we're taking that and then multiplying that by 7.5. That gives us the promotion rate. So the promotion rate there is $40.0942. That's the promotion rate. Now what we're trying to do is find the step that gives a 7.5% increase. Looking on the salary table, it actually is step 9. But what we're doing with that is we're saying that's the end goal. So a combination of your education pay plus your base rate gives you your combined rate. So what it ends up being instead of step 9 is step 8 with an E1 designation. Under this current policy, just kind of recap, 40/18/70 is what we established as the goal, the 7.5%. The employee in the example has education in excess of the requirement by 1 level, so they receive an E1. They had E2, they keep an E1. And the promotion rate for the employee's new position is grade 18, step 8, plus E1. Under the proposed change, here's what we're looking at. Same position, same qualifications. But the employee is hired after this whole thing has been rolled up. The employee is currently in a position, same position, grade 14, but because they had the bachelor's degree after the policy was enacted, they are already at step 14. They're not at a step 12 plus E2, they're at step 14. And so when we figure out a promotion, we just take their base rate, multiply it by 7.5%, and what we come up with is step 9. But then there's no question of, did you take away a step? Did you, exchange anything? It's just math. It's the number times 7.5%, which is really what we're trying to do is keep it simple. So 40/18/70 is what proposes the new 7.5. I just want to end on some maybe potential options, or I can pause on this, Mayor. It's up to you.
Okay, Alderman Sass, do you have a question about this? Okay,
Yes, sir.
go ahead.
Yeah, so,
I can back up if you need.
Yeah, if you wouldn't mind, let's back it up. That table right there is fine.
Okay?
So, before the promotion, if they had an E2,
Yes.
technically an E2, even though it's baked in to their base rate, right? And they then get their 7.5%, but now they're only one step in the education, right? Because it requires an associate and they have a bachelor's. How does that add into it even more, or are they just, so they're still gonna get paid basically with that E2 in place?
The goal is still, like in this case, let me back up to the other example, I think it's a better one. The goal is still to get to step 9. Because step 9 is the total amount. But now it's a combination of their education pay plus their promotion. Now let's
So
go,
we're getting to the same spot.
we're getting to the same number.
We're just eliminating the E1, E2, E3.
Now, right, but a
which
grandfathered
does seem
employee,
to be simplifying it.
yes, and a grandfathered employee would be able to keep it. So if they currently have it and their position allows for it, we're not taking it away.
My issue that I have with,
Alderman Sass, anything else?
Yeah, one more thing. Could an existing grandfathered employee, move to this new methodology?
They could.
That's all. I was curious.
Okay, Alderman Goodwin, go ahead.
my issue that I have with that is, when they get to step 17, they are maxed out, and I want to create an environment where employees want to stay 30 years. If you're maxed out at 17, they're losing 13 years of getting a higher pay. If we have a separate column, it may cost a little more in the beginning, they'll get their 2.5% merit and then get their e-pay on top of that. And I think that's the cleanest, fairest way to do it. I think we need to take our employees and incentivize them to be long. And I think this way, I did the math. So with the new way, let me see here. The lifetime differences would be on the new way a step 14, 30 years. It's a difference that they would have made over the 30 years. If I'm looking at all, I've got notes going everywhere. It's about $101,000 that they would lose out on over that time. And I just can't go with the way that you're proposing.
So that 30-year employee, is that assuming that they stay in the same position they started at for all 30 years?
Yes.
Okay. So Jason, we sort of prepared a little bit for how many people do we have that are so at step 17, you no longer receive a merit increase. That's the highest step you can be at. How many people do we have that's the case?
Total at step 17, there's 23 people total as of today.
Okay. How many of those do we anticipate will be retiring?
Oh, that I don't have.
Sorry. Okay. Okay.
I can tell you out of the 23, 10 of them don't even have e-pay. So only 13 people at that level have e-pay.
Okay. Alderman Goodwin, I sort of interrupt you. Go ahead.
I would like to encourage people to have the education pay, and I'd really like to quit taking it, adding it, taking it, adding it. That's why I want a separate column, and then the e-pay is done on top of their rate of pay. And that's what I'm proposing.
So where would that separate column go?
Well, you have their pay, let's say their pay's $1. Their rate of pay is $1 after their add-ins are on. And then if they have a bachelor, then you do that rate of pay at 5% of the rate of pay. And just, they keep it and it keeps moving up.
So on page 116 is probably the best. Yeah, 116. What would we need? What are you proposing that we change?
I'm proposing that you don't that you don't come in and get a step up or move to the next step. I'm proposing that you come in like you normally would, you get your rate of pay, and if you have a bachelor's after your rate of pay is figured out, it's 5%. And then if you move up to step 2, you figure out your rate of pay, put your 5% on that for however long they're here.
So how do we put that, how do we write that in the ordinance?
Lance, can you help me write that?
I wouldn't want to just haphazardly put something down. That would totally get us in trouble, because we would miss something.
Not yet, but we'll see.
Well, for next reading, I will, can we write an ordinance between now and the next reading?
Yeah, we can have, yeah, definitely. We can come up with a good.
Okay,
Alderman Goodwin, anything else?
that's all.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Bergdorf, you?
Yes, sir, thank you. Thank you, Alderman Goodman. Goodwin, I appreciate your concerns, and I do see what you're talking about. That how do we, the question is, how do we maintain longevity in an employee, a long-time, lifetime employee? I understand that, and I'm just trying to wonder, I'm sure you guys have thought about this, so the livelihood, as Alderman Goodman has said, ends at step 17. The level of promotions end at step 17. Is there anything else that would be, is there another mechanism, is there another vehicle that we could incorporate something to promote longevity for these 23 employees?
Yeah, there's 23 employees.
What came to my mind is we could add more steps. However, just a couple years ago, we reduced the number of steps.
Well, yeah, we did. Okay, that was
That's my
a
best.
thought out loud question, so thank you.
That's my best thought out loud answer.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Alderman Collins.
I have a question for Alderman Goodwin. In your scenario, does the 2.5% or 5% or 7.5% take into account whether or not the job requires them to have that degree?
Yes, if you come in and it requires it, then you don't get it, but let's leave it and quit taking it, adding it, taking it. Just
So if you
make it
get-
clear.
If you come in and you have a bachelor's degree and it doesn't require that, but then you get promoted and it does require a bachelor's degree, you continue to get the 2.5%?
Yes.
I need to give that some thought. And, Mr. Gallo, could you email us the documents that you went through?
Sure.
It's just for review.
I'd be happy to.
I'd appreciate
Yeah,
that.
be more than happy
Thank
to send
you.
it out.
Thank you, Alderman Collins. Thank you, Alderman Goodwin. Jason, you said that you paused for questions. Is this the end of the presentation?
Mostly. I mean, there's a few potential proposals that I had.
Alderman Evans, or what do you want to do?
For me, we don't need to look at these potential options. Number one, I wanted to say that I think maybe I'm missing something, but I think we're making this too complicated. Number one, I don't think we need to add any more steps. So let's take that off the table and don't even mention that.
Sorry, I mentioned it. Okay.
But I understand where Alderman Goodwin's coming from in the fact that just leave the pay as it is with the steps and everything. Why can't this just be a separate thing? You have a person, this is where they are in the step of everything. That's their pay, but if they have the E1 or E2 or whatever designation it is, you just add that to it. However, I do want to think more about what Alderman Collins said about the fact that when a person is promoted and that is required, I think we do have to look at that. I get what Alderman Goodwin is saying about that, not taking it away, but if a person is, that's kind of inherent and included within the promotion, if you will, with somebody getting paid, that if it's a requirement that they have to have a bachelor's or a master's, then they shouldn't be getting the promotion that requires that, plus the designation that they've been receiving all along. So I do have a concern there, but again, I want to try and keep this as simple as possible, and I think that we're convoluting some of this by thinking about, oh, well, you know, we want to get to that. I get what you're doing with the math and all that, but I think it's too complicated, it's too convoluted. Let's just keep it simple. These are the steps. Add the 2%, 2.5%, the 5%, 7.5%, whatever it is, and then go on from there.
Alderman Evans, thank you. Alderman Dixon.
Thank you, Mayor. It might behoove us to schedule a town hall, maybe, or just on this, because this is a little bit beyond our ordinance tonight. But I will say this, coming from the corporate world myself for almost 40 years, I think it should be as simple as you're promoted to this level, you get an e-pay bonus, and I'll call it a bonus instead of an add-on. And when you either go to the next level or you get promoted, your bonus stays with you because you earned it. And that's how I look at it. And I just think it needs to be much more simpler than saying, well, they're going to the next level. That job requires a bachelor's degree. They already have one. So we're going to take that 2%, 2.5% away from them. I say they earned it in the last job. Let that 2% carry with them in the next job at the base pay that they're currently at. That's how I look at it.
Thank you, Alderman Dixon. Alderman Collins.
Jason, the base pay, in the case that somebody gets promoted, the new job description, the base pay includes, it's higher in part because there's more responsibility or different responsibility, different skill sets, but also because the requirements are higher, including education. So is it kind of like you're getting paid for it twice?
It could be seen as double dipping, absolutely. Certain jobs require.
And if you hired into that position instead of getting promoted into it, you would not. Alderman Goodwin, maybe this is where I need to have the clarification. If you're hired, in your scenario, if you're hired into a position that requires a master's degree, do you get the percentage as well as the?
No.
You don't?
You're hired in at a much higher level.
But if you're promoted into it, you still get it.
Instead of taking it away every time, you know, people promote, just quit taking it, moving it, taking it.
Tonight's really hard for me. I am not finding a lot of clarity on many of these issues, and I would like, I know we already deferred this once, but I would like to have, to not have an amendment tonight and have some time to really digest these ideas and think through them.
I'm fine not doing an amendment tonight on it. We'll have a second reading. I can get with Lance and I can think more if I'm gonna do the deduction, but I
do want to find a solution that is simple, straightforward, and benefits our employees.
I would like a separate column after their rate of pay is determined with their e-pay, add it on and move it. To me, it's just much simpler. It's.
Thank you.
Okay, so Alderman Goodwin, you're going to work with Lance to put an amendment together. Let me say something real quick. And Jesse, I think you probably need to help us out a little bit. Just keep in mind, we're not trying to harm anybody. What we're trying to do is trying to get consistency. That's the objective here. Because what we've had has been vague and inconsistent to the point of creating inconsistencies and exceptions that other people want to join in on. And so probably the only inconsistency we have is that we've been very inconsistent. And so hopefully we can get over that. And keep in mind too, this is not to save the city money. There's no reason to believe that there's going to be savings in this. Not at all. Let's go to Alderman Bergdorf. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Jesse. You might want to address something a second ago, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to really express my opinion on this, but what I will say is that Jason and I have dealt with this time and time again. So like Mr. Evans said, it's complicated. and all the math up there is complicated. Unfortunately, the way that we have to factor our current e-pay system is with all that math up there. We have to get this big spreadsheet out, and we have to do it that way. Otherwise, we calculate it incorrectly. And I'm not kidding you. I've sat with department heads, multiple department heads, and Jason, and we've all come up with a different way that we calculate the e-pay. And people had been doing it like that in their department for years. And so we need a very systematic way that we can do that. Right now, we do have a spreadsheet that we use in HR where we test everything that goes through with the current system. What that means, though, is that HR has to manually go in on every promotion and manually check these things. And they could miss 1 a year, they could miss 2 a year, and 4 years down the road, oops, we missed an employee 3 years ago, we missed 2 employees 2 years ago. And so I wish it was simple, but we have to do it the way that we have on the spreadsheet because our policy says we don't want employees to get less than a 7.5% increase. And to Ms. Dixon's point, it's easy if you keep a bonus on there. But then what happens is if an employee got a job and they didn't previously were in a lower ranking job, like if they hired in and it required a bachelor and they never had the option to get a bonus earlier, then they're going to work alongside someone who got the bonus because they started at a lower position. So they're going to work the same position and one gets a bonus and one doesn't. And so there are so many issues with how you can do it. What we basically did in this policy is a proposal. This was an idea that we came up with. So we're not saying that the board has to do this.
Sure.
Is we said, how do we eliminate the confusion? How do we keep it consistent for all employees? And how do we not harm, to the best of our ability, all the existing employees who have e-pay? And the idea was we grandfather everyone in who has it. For the next couple of years while we are here, I think we will be able to be consistent with these e-pays. New employees coming in, bumping up a step, it is hard to make a mistake, much harder to make a mistake. There was an issue raised. Now, we shared all this with department heads for probably the last 8 months, and we didn't really have this issue come up until the last couple of weeks. And I should have thought about this, and I didn't, but there are current employees right now who are about to finish an associate's or bachelor's degree. So they were counting on getting an E1 or an E2, and they're almost done with their degrees. If I could roll back in time, I would have adopted a grandfathered extension in here to say, hey, if you're currently an existing employee, we're going to give you a certain amount of time to finish your degree. And that would, I think, at least alleviate some of the concerns with folks who are about to get their degrees. But there's issues with any way that you do it, and we kind of keep it on a column to the side right now. That's what we do. We have your base pay, and then we kind of keep your e-pay to the side. But if you roll to a position that requires that level of education that you've been getting a bonus for, it rolls off because that position has the pay built into it that's required of that position. So, as you bump up through the ranks, you start to get $80,000, $90,000, $100,000, $110,000 jobs. Well, they pay more because they require the education. So there's a lot of different ways you could do it. It's just hard to have a systematic way where no one's harmed. It's perfect for everyone. We are absolutely open to ideas about it. This was what we came up with, again, to grandfather employees that are currently in the system and then roll a new system on for new employees that's more consistent.
That's much more clear than what I said. Appreciate that, Jesse. Thank you. Alderman Bergdorf.
Thank you. Jason, Jesse, either one of you, please. The one question I've got is, we just recently had a pay study, and I think we discussed this a minute ago. Was any of this, did the pay study we solicited give us any insight on how to do this? Have we seen this type of pay study anywhere else?
So I actually,
pay scale anywhere else?
They're in the middle of the pay study right now. So I called the consultant and spoke with her.
Okay.
And they do all of Tennessee.
Okay.
So they're not middle or east or west. They're all of Tennessee.
Okay.
And I asked her, I said, what's the consistent thing that you have seen? And all the, municipalities that report data, all the cities that turn it in, what do you see? And borrowing from what the mayor said, it's consistently inconsistent.
Across the board?
Across the board. Nobody does it the same. Nobody offers the same structure. And she said, there are agencies who don't offer anything at all. And so she said, those who do offer it, none of them do it the same.
So no insight from the pay study?
None whatsoever.
Is that why we
was
got it so
hoping.
cheap? Is that why we got the discount?
Right, no, I was hoping.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Alderman Bergdorf, thank you. Alderman Goodwin.
I just want to apologize if I came across as being critical. I'm not critical. I think we have not had consistencies, and I have toyed with ideas and looked at it, and to me, that made the most sense. I mean, I'm not good in math, but that was the simplest way for me to do it, as an extra column on the rate of pay. And I will consider, you know, if we have to take it away to get it done that way when you move up, then I'll see how I feel about that. But I wasn't trying to be critical, but I think we need to make it simple. I think it's been so inconsistent over the years and way before y'all came. I mean, I think that's been going on each time you got a new person in. So I'm not being critical of that, but I'm trying to offer a solution that I think will benefit everybody. And so,
Thank you,
That's
Alderman
all.
Goodwin. Alderman Collins.
Do we reimburse for 100% of their tuition, books, whatever? when they're a
If it's
student?
specific to the position, yes. So if it's not specific to the position, no. So there are departments, police and fire are probably the ones who use it the most, where those employees will go back for an advanced degree. The city pays for that.
And that allows them to get a promotion.
That allows them to get the promotion, and it also allows them to get
Well,
the
I'm
e-pay.
definitely not saying that we shouldn't do that. Don't take this the wrong way, but we are paying for somebody to earn the degree that gets them the promotion, which has the degree baked into it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alderman Collins. Any other discussion? So Lance available to work with anybody who has some proposed changes. This is just first reading. So all those in favor of first reading ordinance 2026-01, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Thank you all. Now we're on to brief committee reports. The first one comes from our Public Works Chairman. That is Chairman Skidmore.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We had our meeting tonight at 5 p.m. and it lasted about an hour and a half. So what I'm going to do tonight, if that's okay, I'm going to highlight the Public Works Committee report that actually affects the citizenry of the city of Hendersonville. I think that's more important than us to do the I guess the end work or the housework that we consistently do every month. But I think it's more important that we really address to what's been going, what affects the city as a whole instead of just here at City Hall. So by saying that, tonight we looked at 2 readings of we had a full plate. A resolution 2026, which is coming here at our next meeting, 2026-02, a resolution to apply for a local parks grant for various projects within the city parks. So you'll be getting that at our next packet. The next one is another resolution by 2026-07, which is a resolution for the mayor to execute agreement for inline hockey supply vending machine, which I think is pretty cool. Instead of having like food vending machines, this is like having things that you might forget or something that deals directly with the inline hockey. I'm just trying to think. I don't know because I'm not really a big fan of inline hockey, but I enjoy watching the kids, get out there and play. But it's their equipment. They might forget it, and sometimes I remember when I played basketball. I was playing basketball many years ago, and I forgot my tennis shoes to play basketball. And so I was just heartbroken. So I can identify what those kids do. Fortunately, my mom was there, and she had my extra pair, and in the old Chevelle, if you can believe that we had. And so I was very grateful for Mama for doing that. So it happens. And moms can't think of everything, I can tell you, because they got a whole load on their plate. So with this vending machine, it'll be in Volunteer Park at Arrowhead, and I'm real excited about bringing that to the table here at City Hall. Then we had our trash collection update, and we're doing pretty good shape. We just need to continue to monitor it. The threshold has not been enough for enough misses for us to, institute our contract that says they got to pay us. But we've been really good. We've been very fortunate, especially with the weather, with our trash pickup. We did have a discussion of the traffic calming discussion, which I know every alderman on this board, including the mayor, has had that question answered in parts of the neighborhoods here in our city of Hendersonville. And I'm here to tell you that we're coming and trying to get a new program dealing with that. Now, we're not ready yet, but we're very close to bringing it to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen to explain it, and also to explain it to the citizens of Hendersonville, but I'm real proud of that. The Saunders Ferry Boardwalk crossing, where the boards are there, so when you're driving down Saunders Ferry Road, you can't really see the water. And actually, that's one of the most beautiful places, because I can remember, I know everybody can remember that. So I'm not talking about the 80s. It's kind of, it's hidden now. And we were looking into the replacing everything with, like the little wires that go across, like you see in a lot of state parks. And so we had many months ago, we had a bid put out, or Sarah Locke, who was there, did some research on it. It was about $260,000 or so. Well, we did it again just to see what it would be, and now it's $300,000 for what they're asking for. So we've got to put that on the back burner for right now. But I don't want the people of that peninsula of Walton Ferry and Saunders Ferry think that we're just dismissing it. We're still going to continue to look for avenues that will be better, so you'll be able to see the waterway. But it's got to be safe, safety first. We got to make sure you have the safety there. Want to tell you a little bit, which I'm really excited about, is the light synchronization project in the city of Hendersonville. As you all well know, this whole board is very excited about that. We got, back in February 6th, we got the notice to proceed on that project. And so we're going to advertise our bids around March, or the first couple weeks of March. So I'm real excited for that to be happening here in Hendersonville. Also, I do want to say one thing about, and we did discuss this too. This is about our storm debris removal. And I'm real excited. I'm very proud of Public Works for doing what they've done, and the road crew, and the pickup crew that picks up our debris. It's about 64,000 since the last time I reported, that we've had about 64,000 debris of everyone in Hendersonville have been picked up I'm just trying to talk about what's the easiest way to say this. I guess the best way is just tell you what it is, the truth on it. We're probably going to be, it's going to be before we're back on schedule in the city of Hendersonville, mid-March. But they have been working tremendously hard. In fact, they have had today over 280 hours in overtime. So this city, the city here is working for the citizenry, and I'm real proud of that because that's exceptional work, and they are working desperately in long hours to try to get the debris up. But I want everybody to remember, and this is key, that rain and tornado season could be coming very soon. And so if you think that the trees are the debris that you get out of your yard and you put it up, and you get mad like I do, and say, I wonder where they are, I wonder where they are. Go to the website and look, because they're working to the best that they can do. And I'm just so proud of that. The final thing I want to say is a lot of people through social media and phone calls to my house and emails and things like that. And I know all the aldermen have had these calls too. I mean, I'm sure of it because I'm just looking at the past, and it never fails. But I do want the people of Hendersonville to know that the potholes are being filled, but they're not being filled by the city of Hendersonville if it's on where the state of Tennessee owns that road. Like, for example, Main Street. We don't fill those holes. The Tennessee Department of Transportation, the road division, fills those holes. Now, we go into like Old Jackal Island Road and fill those holes up, or we go into just your normal streets, Allen Drive. I'm just tossing these names out just because I want to let you. Those are city roads. Riviera Drive. That's real close to us in Ward 1. But every street that the city is being dedicated to, that is a city street, I want to let you know they're working real hard to get those potholes filled. It's the cold weather that has an issue with it. A lot of people don't know it. It needs. I like, as chairman of Public Works, and many years I've been in there, I like the fact that when the temperature rises, they're working a little harder because it's gonna stay more impacted in the pothole. The asphalt is. I always like when we have our streets. Every alderman gets a street list of what we have done and what the city is choosing to do or to pave that street. I always, and this is just a matter of, my opinion, but I really like to see our roads, and I represent, along with Mark Bergdorf here, Ward 1. And so when I look, I always look to see, like every alderman, we all look to see what our streets are. But I like to see ours done in the spring, and I really love to see it done in the summer because I'm to the belief that our streets last longer when it's a lot hotter outside for the asphalt to take to the roads. So we are working on that. I know there's been a lot of people, like I said, and I'll close with this, that has been, somewhat critical through social media, but just hang in there with us. We're doing excellent work. City staff's doing wonderful. Best I've seen in a long time, and I'm very proud of them. And just have faith in us. We're getting it all done. But our tree limb service is the key. You know, I'm really worried about when the rain comes and the wind comes, that it's going to do not like the major damage that we had this last ice storm. But I just want everybody to remember, we've got that is coming, and they're doing real good. So mid-March is when we're going to be ready. We're going to be back on track, and we'll continue to look at the website, and it will tell you when the trees are being picked up in your respective ward. Mayor, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Skidmore. Alderman Dixon, you're the liaison to the Lake Shore Committee. I appreciate you offering to provide a report. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor. As you all remember, we voted, I think it was in 2024, 2024, excuse me, to form a Lake Shore Committee. And so in 2025, in May, about 9 months ago, we held our first meeting. We have 9 members, and our chairman is Angela Holmes, and our vice chair is Jeremy Hatcher. Our staff liaison was Stephen Winsenreed, but since Stephen has been promoted, congratulations, Stephen, we now have Tater Mills as our liaison from the city. We have created a website, and you can see it in front of you. And on that website, we list the mission statement that we voted on, and we also have our work plan that you can go out and peruse at your convenience. 2 of the items on that work plan I want to just give you an update on, just in 9 months, what the committee has done. One of the biggest items that the team felt very important to the community is to create a digital resource guide for city residents about the lake. Lots of information. So over the last 9 months, they've had no one came in with all the answers. I don't think there's any one person in the state of Tennessee that has all the answers. So they did a lot of asking folks to come, and the Corps of Engineers and different people, officers, and the fire chief came and did a presentation for them, and just trying to gather what they feel like might need to go in this digital resource guide. It is about 75% complete. It's in draft. We will need a legal review for this when it goes live on the website. And we would need our information officer, Casey, to help us launch this on our website. The next item is that on the work plan is hosting meetings with property owners and the Corps of Engineers in partnership with our mayor, because before this committee was formed, there were 2 meetings that the mayor's had over the last 3 or 4 years where he invited citizens to come here, and members of the Corps of Engineers could ask questions. I'll say February 9th, the Monday after the Super Bowl, we had a 3rd meeting that was sponsored by the mayor, but the Lake Shore Committee was involved. We had members of the Corps of Engineer and the Cumberland Water Management here. Because it was the Sunday after the Super Bowl, we were very surprised. I think the mayor and I talked about, if we have 20 people, that's a success. We had, I stopped counting at around 65, and many, many more people came in, and I think we have between 80 and 85 people here. And every seat was full, and we had people standing. It was a great, great meeting. The thing that did impress our team is that it was all positive communication and feedback from those who attended. And there was so much information that was offered by the resources we asked to come and speak. And I would ask all the aldermen and those watching, if you're interested, we did video this, and it is out on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. And more to come. I would really like to get Angela as our chairman here to give a overall presentation sometime later this year. But I did want to give everyone that update. Thank you so much.
Alderman Dixon, thank you. Alderman Robertson, you also asked, and I appreciate this, to provide an update as liaison of the Golf Course Commission.
And I'd like to ask Director Gilley if he could come and help me with this presentation. You know, one of the things that I did when I was appointed to the Golf Commission, I noticed that they really didn't have a liaison department with the golf course. It was the Finance Committee, and, you know, so one of the first things I did was pass a resolution for the Parks Department to be the liaison, and boy, what a blessing that has been. The Parks Department does a great job in helping the management company, but as you can expect, we've had a lot of problems with the snowstorm. And so just a brief report, and then I'm going to ask Director Gilley to say a few words. Due to the substantial tree damage, there's a lot of trees, as you can expect, on the golf course. It was partially either closed or partially closed for 23 days, starting January the 24th. And management company estimates that they lost approximately $40,000 during that time. Now, thankfully, the Golf Commission and the management company with the Parks Department, they have really managed the money well. Demand for the golf course is up. It started going up in COVID. And so the good report is, the bad report is they lost $40,000, but the good news is that they had enough reserves to cover that. So they're not going to need to come to BOMA asking for a supplement, help on that. They're going to be able to absorb that within their reserves that they have, and that's the good news. The next challenge, and I want to, the management company wanted to especially thank the staff and the third-party contractor that has helped remove a lot of trees from the golf course, and now there's a lot of stump removal and repair of golf paths. So Director Gilley, would you please add anything that you think need to, and maybe what the Parks Department has done with the golf management company to make it work?
Thank you. Thank you to this board for supporting the golf course. We are one of few municipally owned golf courses in the country that make money. You can call around to Gallatin, Springfield, Metro, Nashville. Even though COVID has boomed golf, they don't necessarily turn a profit. So these folks have done a great job, they being the management group, our parks maintenance staff, public works, working together on all that. I can assure you, when I sat where Alderman Dixon now sits 8 or 9 years ago, and I was in the role as a liaison as Alderman Robertson is now, if we'd have had this storm then, we would be coming up here with an emergency amendment for the budget to ask you to help the golf course make payroll. Not just keep it open, just make payroll. So those folks have done a great job. The On-Call Tree Company has been fantastic. So that's been a contract well done by the city. What I will say about that contract also that people may not realize is they have come in, and Stephen or Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, they have hired local people too to work with them as monitors and working buckets and other things. So that's been good to have local people that care about the city also working with people from out of state. They have touched, I know they never, and I personally never want to see another tree with ice on it ever again. Man, what a mess. And they worked really hard, and the biggest thing was we didn't want to open it until it was pretty safe to open it for liability reasons. So they got 9 holes back open, they got an 18 open now. In the meantime, that allowed us to finish a major renovation to the restrooms out there. I know Alderman Collins and her women's group that meets out there in the clubhouse appreciate the restroom renovation. that we worked on. So it has been a complete team effort. The golf course is a good example of what has gone on citywide during this. If you didn't know better, you wouldn't have known we had a disaster, right? Like, except for when we were without power for a week or two in some cases. But they've done a tremendous job of cleaning up. They will be able to meet payroll. They will be able to still have money in the bank to do things with, and probably even maybe do a project or two outside of that. I'm not saying that's going to be the case every year, but for this year, we have saved up enough money to do that. It was a record year in rounds played last calendar year, and we hope that we'll get back to normal business soon. So if anybody has any,
Yeah.
that I probably didn't answer all
No,
the
you
things.
did, but I want to ask you, the Commission has spent a lot of money on the golf course. I mean, by my estimates, it's in the hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Within the last 2 to 3 years,
Yes.
the golf, it's the city spending the city's money. And when you get down to it, the money that the golf course collects is city dollars. And then the golf commission helps guide the staff in spending that money on the golf course. So between buying a new irrigation pump and all the improvements that we've done and maintenance items, it's well over $300,000 to $400,000 that has been spent by the revenues from the golf course.
That's what I wanted.
That the city has not had to fund. So that just doesn't happen, man. I've actually been asked to speak at a conference about how you make money on a municipal golf course, and I declined because I really just, what I want to tell them is, look, we're just well situated in between two really expensive country clubs with a lot of people moving in here. That's what's really happening. So not everybody can do that.
Yeah, I've never seen the response to the storm at the golf course and with the city. I'll echo what Chairman Skidmore said. I've never seen such coordination and teamwork in dealing with a natural disaster. Our staff worked as a team. They were dedicated. They were responsive, and we just can't say enough of expressing our appreciation to all of the staff for what they did, and especially at the golf course, since I'm on the commission. So thank you, Director Gilley.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, we've had a lot of practice working together on disasters, so we're ready for a little break for a year, hopefully. Thank you all.
Hold on, Andy. Alderman Evans, do you have a question for Alderman Robertson?
No. I have something I want to share with some.
Sure.
I'm good?
Yes, you're good.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Mayor. But I wanted to speak before Mr. Eckenroth came up and spoke, but this goes back to the personnel rules and regulations. So it's my fault, but I think that we've, first of all, I appreciate Jesse and Jason and the staff working on those over the last few months that they have, year or whatever. But I feel like that in our haste tonight, we went too quick, and I wasn't following what you were doing, and we went too quick in approving the first reading. I'm not saying we go back, but that's the reason I asked for us to go section at a time, and I appreciate that, Alderman Goodwin jumped into the e-pay, that's fine, but there were other questions I had, so I want us to be prepared when we come back for the second reading, that I have a lot of questions, and I think some other people do too, and let's not quickly jump into all those in favor kind of thing, because we did that when we had the workshop. Those of us on BOMA really only got to speak maybe or ask questions maybe 20 to 30 minutes at the most for a document that's 200 pages long. We listened to the folks that have helped us write this, and that was fine to have them share and all that stuff, but we've not been given the opportunity to ask the questions properly. I've worked with Jason and Jesse to ask a lot of questions, but I still have more, and I wanted to do them tonight in a forum. And so I'd just like next time when we meet to talk about this in the second reading, that I would like for us to go through, and when I say chapter by chapter, I'm talking about the HR numbers. So Jesse, if I'm speaking the wrong language here, it's the policy, HR. I want to take those a chapter or HR at a time so that it gives us all the opportunity to ask the questions and not rush through this going forward, please. Thank you.
Alderman Evans, thank you. Jesse, Bowman report.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. That was a good report on the golf course. Jason, if you can pull up the social media that Casey and Natasha put together, this is a little clip that Public Works asked us to play during Public Works Committee, but we weren't able to, so we're just going to go ahead and play it for you now. This is out on social media. Can we get the audio? Maybe that's me up here.
That's what I want.
On Sunday, January 25th, Hendersonville residents woke to an icy mess and the sounds of popping trees and branches. Winter Storm Fern had brought widespread tree damage across the city. City crews were dispatched immediately, clearing more than 65 calls for trees in the roadway over a 24-hour period. As a part of our emergency preparedness plan, the city has a contract crew called Looks Great Services on standby to help with storm damage during a state of emergency. Prior to the storm, Public Works alerted this team that we may need them, and as a result, they were prepared and had trucks in the city ready to support within days of the storm hitting. Due to the large collection volumes, Looks Great brought in 9 limb trucks to support our existing limb collection crews. These trucks have been divided up in zones across the city and are collectively working to pick up the debris as quickly as possible. Residents can place all their limbs and branches at the street for collection by these crews. They will be making several passes on each street to get everything collected. Once trucks have a full load, crews take the limbs to our city limb and vegetation landfill off Forest Retreat Road. They are unloaded and eventually ground into mulch and hauled off. These crews are averaging a little over 100 loads of debris a day and have collected over 50,000 cubic yards of debris since starting. We encourage everyone to get their tree limbs to the curb as soon as possible to ensure a timely collection. We anticipate our contract crews will be here to help with collection until mid-March. Working together, we can get the city back to normal as quickly as possible.
Yeah, thank you, Casey and Natasha, for putting that together. I think it was 50,000 cubic yards when we did the video, and as Chairman Skidmore said, we're up to 64,000 cubic yards already. So we're nearing $1.5 million already for the cleanup that we have through third party. So good thing we have our rainy day reserve. Again, we're going to submit for reimbursement on that, but there's been almost 2,000 loads of debris that have been taken out to the limb landfill. And you saw that kind of pulverizer that was shooting out all the chips, and then those chips have to get hauled down to Nashville. So it is a production out at the site. Just to manage the space out there is quite a production. I'm not going to go through the BOMA report. It's static since last meeting. I will just highlight the email that the mayor sent out about the boring company, just so everyone is clear on that. We did already submit an application for the boring company. We were able to meet with them about a week ago, and they told us, oh, by the way, we have a contest for a free mile of tunnel, and the application is due in 3 days. So we went ahead and put the application in, but the estimated value of a mile of tunnel that we could use for underground and utility lines is, in the neighborhood of $10 to $12 million. So that will be wild if we can actually get something like that. But planning did a great job in getting that submitted. So that is in the boring company's kind of queue. Hopefully that is awarded to the city. The last thing I want you guys to do is just remember to mark your calendars for tomorrow. We have both a BOMA budget workshop that starts at 6 p.m. in here. And then following that up, we are going to have a BOMA and Parks Board meeting to go over the Parks Master Plan. So we're going to talk about the master plan. We'll do a SWOT analysis. Andy, Mayor Clary, and Kimberly Horn will be here kind of leading that. That's going to start at 7. So 6 o'clock and 7 o'clock. We'll have some food here right before our 6 o'clock meeting. So if you don't have time to grab dinner, we'll have something here for you guys. And that concludes my report.
Alderman Skidmore, did you have a question for Jesse? Oh, here we go. Now you're good.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to Casey and Tasha, thank you guys for that. But after viewing that, I had post-traumatic stress disorder when I saw that video. So I'm not really sure whether I want to thank you or not, because it was rough. Thank you, Mayor.
Appreciate that, Alderman Skidmore. So next we have executive session, which can include only the board and our city attorney. We do have one other item on the agenda before we adjourn. I'd like to give you a prediction. I'll say somewhere between 5 and 20 minutes. Okay. Thank you, Jason. Ready? Alderman Ward. We have a motion to adjourn from Alderman Ward and a second from Alderman Collins. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Thank you all. Y'all have a good night. Appreciate your work tonight. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Gavin.